I wish I was the person today back when I was playing sports. Because even when I was playing sports, I had to prove everybody wrong. And I was always focused on the wrong thing. I was distracted by the wrong thing instead of focusing on me. Instead of focusing on proving me right and not proving everybody else wrong. But I'll be damned if I didn't get in that arena every single day and try to do better. Welcome to another episode of Kaizen Cast. Small steps, big changes. We always bring this up in the first part of our mantra or motto. The small steps is trying to help others to create bigger changes in our life. And our ultimate goal, because that's what God wants, is to literally help others. I say this all the time. You need to put yourself last every single day and get out there and help others first. And that really is true, because that's life-changing, especially for me and the people that are around me. So please, the reason why we do this is to help others, because we have addictions, we have sadness in our life. It's all these things that need help from other people. And a lot of times it's just being able to listen and then and give some helpful advice. And the reason why I do this, it not only helps me, but I can help other people. And that's the thing that really drives me to continue with this every single week. So this episode is actually going to be something that I'm just going to go off the cuff with, because we were supposed to have a guest on. Person had to cancel, which is totally fine. And I was like, well, God will have a plan for us. And then here we are. I found a gift that my son and his girlfriend sent me, which was late from Christmas, and they were upset because it didn't come on Christmas. And I'm like, well, there's a reason why this happened, because I need to talk about this today in my podcast. And it's something that's truly amazing to me, something that hit home tremendously, and it's one of the nicest gifts I've ever received. So I want to read something to you all from, it's a quote. It's called The Man in the Arena by Teddy Roosevelt. And I'm just going to take some bits and pieces of it, and I just want to talk about it. And here, let me just show everybody that can see it, because the frame is beautiful. It's just an amazing piece of work that's going to be sitting on my desk for the rest of my life, because I'm going to look at it and read it, especially when I'm having tough days. So it goes something like this, the beginning part, April 23rd, 1910. And it's still here today, and it's amazing. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles, or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. Sorry, my reading skills aren't awesome, so sometimes I stumble along, but please stay with me. And I just want to talk about that original first part right there, those first couple sentences, because not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles. Interesting how that happens, right? Most people want to point out the guy that's going to put himself out on a limb and try new things, and there's a good chance you're going to fail. The guy behind him wants to see that guy stumble, right? Wants to see him fail. It's a weird way of life. It's just it's not the critics who count. You know who counts? You proving it to yourself. It's something that's been resonating with me over the last 3 or 4 months, and I say this in my quick little quotes in my podcast, on Instagram and TikTok. Sorry, they're not podcasts. Yeah. So something that, that I would talk about on my reels, that my whole life has been about goals, what I wanted to do. And then I stopped and thought for a minute, man, I've reached a lot of my goals in my life. But I did it in a way where I didn't love it for me. I did it to prove everybody else wrong. Well, that's a fucking terrible way to look at life. Because like I'm telling young kids today, and I've had this in my own sons and in my daughter, you know, when you try to prove the haters wrong and you do it, which I did many, many times in my life, and they never even been in the same arena. And that's why I love this, the man in the arena. They never been in that arena that I've been in. And I still prove them wrong. Guess what? They don't give a flying rat's ass that you prove them wrong because they're haters. So it's like running into the brick wall. It's like when you ask them, hey, what do you think about this? And they go, no, that's never going to work. And you go over to the next person, another hater. What do you think about that's never going to work? Instead of being like, instead of you getting stronger as a person, most people get demoralized and say, fuck, yeah, it's probably a terrible idea. I'm not going to try that or that. That's bullshit. But you don't want to prove the haters wrong. You want to prove it to yourself that you're right. And that's the most important thing. That truly is the most important thing. And I've had this conversation a few times with a couple younger people that listen to me, that reach out to me, because we get caught up in this world of what do I look like? How do I sound? Is this about me? Did they like it? How many followers do I have? Like, who gives a rat's ass? I'm trying to grow this podcast organically, and I just want people to listen, and hopefully I can help them. And there's going to be people out there that are going to still hate. Oh, look at him, get on his high horse. He overcame addiction and don't care anymore. You know what? The small circle that I have in my life that loves me to death, those are the people that I care about. And they all care that I'm doing it. And they all give me very high props that I'm doing this stuff. And it's an amazing feeling. And especially when you get somebody that actually comes back to you and says, wow, you really helped me today. There's not enough money in the world that I can tell you the feeling you get when you do something like that for somebody else. It happens to me multiple times a day in the gym. And I go back and I think about 6 to 8 to 9 a year ago, 2 years ago, when I'd be in that gym and have this angry, snarling look on my face that I wanted to kill somebody, which is most of the time that I walked around with my life. I had so much hatred that today I walk around with a smile on my face, and people come up to me, they say hello to me, they ask me questions, what do I think? It's because I truly do care. And I did make a lot of fucking mistakes. And I guess people value the opinion of somebody that can actually take accountability for their mistakes and then make the changes like I've done. But it's a different feeling than I used to have. And it took me a long time to actually understand this. And, I guess it took me a lot of praying. It took me a lot of healing, a lot of asking for forgiveness from other people that may never forgive me. And there's only so much that you can do with that. And that's fine too. But what I can do is keep moving forward and helping other people try to put themselves in a better position. So this, let me go a little bit further now. The credit belongs to the man who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs, and who comes short again and again, because there is no effort without error and shortcoming. Well, that kind of just sums up my whole life. Like, you're not going to tell me that I'm not going to try something and I'm not going to get in that arena and there's a chance that I get my balls kicked in and I'm not going to get back up and try it again. I fully believe that, with the person I am today, I wish I was the person today back when I was playing sports. Because even when I was playing sports, I had to prove everybody wrong. And I was always focused on the wrong thing. I was distracted by the wrong thing instead of focusing on me. Instead of focusing on proving me right and not proving everybody else wrong. But I'll be damned if I didn't get in that arena every single day and try to do better. And then there was a part of me that actually got so frustrated with everything and not being around. Again, I bring it up every single day of my life, not being around like-minded people that wanted to tell me differently. You start thinking differently. It's interesting when your head is clear and your heart is right, you make such unbelievable decisions. Unbelievable decisions. And I keep reading this over and over again, and it's like the credit belongs to the man who was actually in the arena. Most people, they don't give the credit to the guy in the arena. They don't do that at all. They find some other way to spin it where it's better for them, or let me put that person down, instead of being like, wow, I give that guy a lot of credit for trying that stuff. Or wow, how about as simple as this? Take a minute, instead of being disrespectful to somebody, whether it's on the phone or in person because the people are frustrating you, ask them how their day's going. Most people just want to have somebody polite speaking to them. Instead of, especially you think about people that are in customer service and they get shit on all the time. You have no clue how many times I've asked people, whether it's the grocery store, 7-Eleven, how's your day going? And they fully open up to me. I don't know. Do I have that personality? Maybe. But I just think that there's a lot of people who have a lot of shit on their mind and they just don't know who to talk to. And a lot of them just eat it every single fucking day and they're miserable. It doesn't cost anything. It doesn't cost a single cent to ask somebody how their day's going. And then you know what? If they say good, then you say great. I hope you have a blessed day and I hope you have a blessed week. Because that's all you can do. But guess what? That puts them in a mindset that like, wow, that guy's pretty understanding and pretty cool. And I truly mean that. Like, and even if somebody's having a horrible day, I say, you know what? I think it's going to get better for you. But instead, we look at the man in the arena and we make fun. Or, or we decide that, oh, that guy got lucky. He got lucky. He made hundreds of millions of dollars. He got fucking lucky. Make an excuse. Why do we make excuses? We make excuses because we're fucking jealous. And we're fucking fat, lazy, and stupid a lot of times in America. So we rather point the finger and be like, oh, I can't do that. Why can't you do it? You can't do it because you're afraid. You want to be afraid of taking the shot on doing something in life. When we live in the best country in the world, outside of our bickering amongst ourselves, which is exactly what they want, distractions. People are too stupid to understand that. Again, I'm always sorry to say I will always be on the side of Republicans because I believe in God, I believe in capitalism, and that's just the way I feel. My podcast is the way I feel. If Republicans change their tone and how they do things, then I won't be one. That's for sure. And this isn't about a political talk today. This is more about where we're going with the man in the arena. But I just have to put that out there. So let me go a little bit further. Oh, especially when you come up, it says when you come up short again and again, because there's no effort without error and shortcoming. It's funny how the people that always want to criticize you, did you ever ask them, have they ever come up short? I love, this is my favorite. Have they ever come up short? No. Oh, your life's always perfect. Oh, you've made millions of dollars and your family and everybody, everything's perfect in your life. That's a fucking lie. Straight up lie. Because the more money you have, there's usually more issues you'll have in life with problems because more people are pulling on your coattails. But doesn't mean that you can't be super successful, but don't make believe that your family's perfect, because nobody's perfect. You just hide that shit. Or people will say, well, I don't want to air my dirty laundry about my family. Yeah, but if you say one thing and you're really doing another, you're lying. I'm not saying you have to tell what the family problem is, but if you really make believe that the family's in great shape and it's really not, you're living a lie. This is why I talk about this stuff because I don't live in a lie. I used to, and I apologize for it, but I don't do that anymore. And that's why I look probably 15 years younger. I feel great. I get 8-9 hours of sleep because I can put my head on the pillow every single night and know I did the best job I could possibly do. And do I get my balls kicked in sometimes? Absolutely. But that's okay. God wants that. I say it all the time. He wants warriors at his door when it's time to go. He doesn't want privileged, entitled assholes that think they know everything, because we don't really know that much. Just because people base knowing everything on how much money you have, but doesn't mean that their life is perfect. Not even close. I love when people go to people for advice about, and I've said this another time, health, wealth, and relationships. When their health is terrible, they go to a fat guy because he's got hundreds of millions of dollars, or or if they're having trouble with their marriage, let me go talk to the guy who's worth 100 million. How do you know that guy's marriage isn't bad? Who knows? Maybe it is. You're going to go to him for advice? I want to go to the people that actually are in love with each other and actually have been through that and then changed it. Like, if people don't make change, then just because they made lots of money in their niche business or whatever they've done in their life doesn't mean that the rest of their life is perfect. Nobody's perfect. God didn't put us on this earth to be perfect. But it's how you deal with that. Are we going to sit behind the mirror and make believe everything's perfect? I don't do that shit anymore. Because it's not. That's why sometimes you'll see me. I'll have days where I'm struggling to be upbeat and because I'm not upbeat every day. I have to some days force myself. And there's some days like I don't want to put myself last. Because for a very long time in my life, and I told this to a bunch of people and another friend of mine, we were talking about relationships with our wives, and he's been with his wife through a lot, and she's stuck by him, and he's stuck by her, but I said, you need to work at it. It's a full-time job, just like your job is a full-time thing, and just like your kids. That's why true alpha men have to put themselves last every single day. And the small things that you want to do, whether it's go watch football games with your buddy or go play golf, 3 days a week, like sometimes maybe once a week, whatever it is, you can't do it because you have obligations to put yourself last and take care of everybody around. That's true alpha men, and take care of everybody else around you. It's not about you. And that's one thing it took me a long time to understand, because I, again, take full responsibility for the fact that it was always about me. It was about me trying to succeed in baseball. It was about me trying to make the most money in the world. It had nothing to do with anybody else except for me. And when I did do it, it'd be like, I knew I was going to do that. But I missed all the other shit that was going on. Missed it all. But I thought getting in the arena and fighting to the death was exactly what I was supposed to do. And it is. But again, goes back to the things I tell you. When you're in that arena, there's small W's that happen every single day that we just skip over and don't thank God for. We don't. Oh, that's just part of life. No. That's a huge W that you missed. That we all do it. If you take a second to think about your day and how many small W's you had, you're like, wow, man, I was pretty productive today. Or wow, I could have did this, and this a little bit better. A lot of people just don't. I can't say everybody because it's not, but I guarantee you majority skip over that. And it took me a long time to understand why I was supposed to enjoy the small W's. Because when the big one actually happens, because they do happen, you take it in and you're like, man, that's euphoric. It's almost like when I was making lots of money on Wall Street, when I would get a new car, and I'd get the S550 AMG, and I was so excited when I get to Mercedes to get there. And then by the time I drove it home, I was like, all right, that's cool. On to the next thing. Didn't even enjoy the fact that I worked hard for it. I was able to do it when most people weren't at my age. I was talking about not enjoying it. I was still trying to prove to myself that my guys who made it to the big leagues, my buddies that I play with, I was angry that I was still making more money than them, and it just used to eat me up inside. Talk about the devil. And he was giving me more, right? Lucifer would give me more and more and more, and it just kept eating me up inside. Now, over the last 3.5 years, I've had a lot taken away, and I've never been happier. Because it brought back something that I realized I didn't understand what I was actually striving for, which was happiness. And I'm in a different place in my life now, a different time, different place where, again, thanks to God, 17 weeks, no anxiety. I think it's 17. I keep losing track now at this point. But it's truly, truly amazing that I thank him every single morning. And I say, please, if that feeling is coming on, just take it away from me. And every single night when I go to bed, no matter how tired I am, it takes milliseconds to thank God. Just to know that you believe in him and you receive him. 2 beautiful words. So let me keep going with the rest of it. So now where was I? But who does actually strive to do the deeds? Who knows the great enthusiasms, the great devotions? Who spends himself in a worthy cause? Who at the best knows in the end the triumph of the high achievement? And who at the worst, if he fails, at least fails with daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. Well, doesn't that sum it up? And that's why, in my head, this is how I put it: lions, not sheep, right? If you're a lion, you rule the jungle. If you're a sheep, you're a follower and you're going to get eaten. So there's a lot of people that'll never get in that arena. Ever. And never take the shot. And here's one thing I want to say. Everybody's built differently, and there's nothing wrong with not taking the shot. I just don't want those people that never took the shot to ever say, and I don't mean shot like in vaccine shot, I mean taking a shot on life. I don't want anybody to ever say that never took the shot to criticize people that do take the shot and fail. And again, I mean the shot on life. Because those people that do criticize that's never actually jumped in the arena, you should be embarrassed. Truly embarrassed about yourself and your comments. Because what you're wasting everybody's time, energy, and your own, by the way, living in miserable thoughts. And again, I say it because I lived it. I lived it. Oh, that guy's a jerk off because, like, whatever, he's got a ton of money. I didn't even know the guy. Just making judgment based off of, whatever car he was driving, whatever it may be. Instead of giving somebody a chance. Instead of going up to him like, wow, dude, that's, and then you could know right away if you go, wow, dude, that's a sick car. Nice to meet you. And if he's outgoing and a really nice guy, it's somebody you want to talk to. If he's an asshole dick, then you don't talk to him. And you know that he doesn't deserve all that. And he's somewhere in his life is miserable. So he uses that as a showpiece to let everybody know that he has a lot of money. There's a different way to look at life. And I see it now. I see it in a different way. I see it with my kids. I see it with my dogs, my wife, how much I love everybody. But my love only spreads so far. Only spreads so far. This was one of the best gifts I've ever received. So cool. Thoughtful, meaningful, and it doesn't have to be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars for something to be so special. And as we get older, too, that's the other thing in our life. As we get older, we realize that money isn't everything. And this is what I'm trying to teach my children, because I thought money was everything. And then I have our 19-year-old that comes in with words of wisdom, which he's a very quiet young man, built like a brick shithouse, and has a lot of great thoughts, but doesn't talk much. And he, out of nowhere, goes, you know what, Pops? In the Bible, it says money is great. It's when you start worshiping money is when it's evil. And I bring that up all the time, I know. But that I will never forget. Because at a very, very young age, I always wanted a lot of money. Did I get it? Absolutely. Did I piss it away? Abso-fucking-lutely. Did I make smart decisions sometimes with it? Sure. Did I worship it? Yes, I did. And then when a lot of it got taken away, I realized, man, it's not about the money. It's about the people that are around you. It's about the small circle that you keep that actually really love you and care about you. And something like this, the Man in an Arena, that's been around since 1910, obviously is a story that will never go away because it's the truth. It's amazing when the truth is really spoken, because lies come and go, and then you have to remember your lies. I say this to my 11-year-old all the time, which he's doing such an amazing job with not lying. But they like to test the waters at a young age to see how much they can get away with, right? Let's push the boundaries. So if you lie, it's easier. But you got to remember the lies. And when I catch him in a lie, he looks at me now with that look on his face like, oh, shit. T got me again. But little boys, little girls, we're all going to try it. That's what Adam and Eve is about. God put us on this earth not to be perfect. But the more we can take the lies out and the more you can be truthful to yourself first and then to everybody else around you, your life is pretty simple. I've never felt better in my life because I don't lie. I don't surround myself with people that do. I don't want to hear it. Like, I don't want to hear the excuses. I don't want to hear the stories. I don't want to hear, because there's always a solution. There's always a solution. The excuses are for the entitled assholes that don't want to figure out the solution. That usually come up with some lie or fib that'll get them off the hook. So not like-minded, get out. Go somewhere else. Like I said, when I have a thought, I used to think, like, let me ask everybody what they think because I think it could be a really good idea. Well, I would go around and ask everybody, and then, maybe you get a few people that are like-minded like you, but they would, then you'd have the people that would actually say, no, that's stupid. That's terrible. And I used to get offended. Now, I smile and say, good. That means I know I'm doing this right. Because I'm doing it right doesn't mean that what project or what thing I'm working on is going to work. What it means is that I'm following my gut. And most people in today's world don't do that. Again, lion's not sheep. Most people want to talk about shit, and then hopefully all these other people will follow along and then you don't put the work in, or you get rejected from those people, and you're like, yeah, I guess that was kind of stupid. Fuck those people. Say good. They're just not like-minded, and do what you need to do. And you could fall flat on your face, which goes back to the man in the arena. But at least you took the shot. And you didn't allow the other people around you to influence you not to try it. Believe in yourself. Believe in yourself. Trust your gut. Most people don't. There's another thing I want to share with you guys, and I hope my wife got me this book, The 4 Agreements. Can you see that in the camera? Yeah. The 4 Agreements. This book's been around for a very long time. Dan Millman was the author. I think. No. Don Miguel Ruiz. I think I said his name correctly. I apologize if I butchered it. I'm only halfway through the book, but the book is amazing. It's literally 4 agreements. And the second agreement that I'm reading is exactly what this talks about, the man in the arena. It's incredible how this, and it's like, and I say this, God has tied all this in a day where I wasn't even going to have really much to talk about, and I think I can talk about this stuff for the next hour. That in the second chapter, second agreement, I should say, it talks specifically, and I just sent this to my son Tommy because he was going through a period that he needed a little pep talk, and he needed it. And I said, stop trying to prove the haters wrong. It doesn't matter. They're going to hate. Do it for what's going to make you happy, right? And in the book, it says, their version is, don't take things personally. And he even go as far as to say, don't take even compliments personally, good or bad. Like, don't take, oh, you look awesome today. Don't take it personally. Like, he's like, everybody has their opinion and their view on things. Now, of course, compliments are much nicer than people rejecting you. But when you start realizing that it doesn't really matter what people think, and you focus on you and what you're doing, and especially if you're helping others, I mean, your life it's the fulfillment is unbelievable. So this keeps, over the last few months, has been really, really resonating with me about what my life goal is now. Like, do I want to be successful? Do I want to make lots of money again? Of course. Will I worship it? Fuck no. Will I love it? Absolutely. Same thing that my buddy Josh, I just spoke to him this morning. We were talking about some other stuff, but I thank him every time I see him when he was on the show, because 30-something years living in basically hell and not figuring out why I didn't get drafted in it. He did it with one simple sentence. I never worshiped baseball. I loved it. Well, my son told me, you worship money, it's evil. Well, when you worship baseball, outside, the only thing you should be worshiping is God. And outside of that, when you start worshiping other stuff, it doesn't work. Like he said, I loved baseball and I knew it was a game, but I knew there was going to be another chapter in my life. Most guys, even guys that get to the big leagues, and again, I can't speak for them because I've never been there, but I do have some friends that did make it, which hopefully someday outside, there was 2 guys that did make it on my show too, but a lot of guys lose their identity. Forget about getting to the big leagues. A lot of them lose it after, college. If you make it in college and you were a big-time college player. I went through that period of life. A period of time in my life, I should say. Just like I feel like my oldest son is kind of grinding through life right now, trying to really figure out what he wants to do. And I think not every, because again, there's some kids that go to college for a purpose because they want to be a lawyer, a doctor, a chemist, they already know. But I think there's a lot of kids at university that have no clue what they want to do, especially when you're an athlete, like a big time athlete, like my kids were, and one of them is getting ready for that stuff. That's their identity right now. And then when you lose it, you feel lost. And that's how I felt for a very long time, even when I was still making money. But again, you go back to how I was dealing with it. And again, it all ties into each other. It's funny, I'm just having this come to my head now, that I remember when I was young, I used to tell my dad, I'm going to make so much money in the big leagues that I'm going to buy you houses and cars. And I remember him saying to me, I don't want the houses and cars. I want you to get there and be happy that you're playing. So think about that. When I was that young, I was already talking about the materialistic things and not enjoying the fact that it was a kid's game that I could have played until I was whatever age. And I think that's where we lose perspective on stuff. And that just came into my head just now. And it's like, I think with all the trauma I did to myself. And people are like, oh, trauma, like you weren't in. No, I wasn't in wars, or I didn't come from an abusive family. My family was awesome. I was blessed to be a very good athlete. But the traumas I did to myself, of I forget a lot of things. Like, perfect example, one of my buddies, a college buddy, played with me at school. He was one of my closest friends. He moved down here. And someday he'll come on my podcast. I know it. And we were talking, and he was like, hey, by the way, did you know that, your freshman year, you hit 370 in the conference? I was like, holy shit. I didn't know that. 370 as a freshman's not so bad. But I can't remember any of that stuff because I blocked everything out with drugs and alcohol. I don't remember a lot of my high school days. Like, guys will say, oh, you remember when we played so-and-so? Nope. Don't remember it. Sucks. It's like I didn't even, like, I might as well have not even played sports. Because I'm supposed to remember all this stuff. I'm supposed to be able to, and there's bits and pieces that I'll remember, small pieces, especially my college career. That was a pretty damn good one for back then when, to like I said, play in the Big East Conference and get an opportunity to do that in the Northeast was like, it's not as big as the SEC, but it was comparable to playing in the ACC today, I would say. Because you didn't get the opportunity to travel down like kids like we do today with the way because there's so much money in the games now that like kids travel when they're 12 years old to different states to play. But to be able to play at that level and do what I did and not remember, that's sad. I don't feel bad for myself. I just think it's sad because I did it to myself. Because I allowed all the negativity, the one thing that didn't happen to me, which was not to get drafted, I allowed all the other W's to get washed away. Sad. So when he said that to me yesterday, and he goes, you don't remember, huh? And I said, nope. I go, sometimes we'll be talking to we'll be on a group chat or we'll be all together and we'll be talking about stories and like I'll shake my head, but like I don't really remember the story. But I do remember not getting drafted and how fucking angry I was. Instead of doing something like, and here's another thing I used to do. It's terrible. Tim Tebow, who is was the most religious college athlete I've ever seen, and then, played in the NFL for a very, very short time, and then also got drafted, signed with the Mets, and didn't make it, but never lost his faith. He got stronger as it got harder. And somebody like myself, I used to make fun of him. Oh, he's so religious. No, that guy was so ahead of his time and so successful outside of sports because his life was fulfilled. And he did amazing things, but did he get to he was one of the best college quarterbacks in the country when he played. Did he play in the NFL for 10 years like Aaron Rodgers, 12 years, whatever? I don't even know how many years, 14 years of what Aaron Rodgers? No. He was there for like a New York minute and then tried baseball because he was such a good athlete. Had an opportunity there. But did he ever lose his faith? No. What's he do now? Does unbelievable things for his foundation. He's now in the midst of trying to help all this child trafficking that's going on. He has proms for kids who, that are in wheelchairs, that are can't speak, that have disabilities. Like, he does these most amazing things, and we need more people like that. So that's what I'm striving to be like, and I want to be somebody like Tim Tebow. Which, if you were asking me 15 years ago, I'd be like, fuck Tim Tebow. That guy's a clown. Like, oh, he's faith-driven. I apologize for that because I was so lost and so consumed in my own bullshit. That guy's a stud. And we need more young kids to look up to somebody like that than look up to, Juan Soto because he signed the biggest contract in baseball history. Not saying I don't know Juan Soto personally, but I don't know what type of guys. I'm sure he's a great guy. But my point is that we get attracted to the dollar signs. We get attracted to the bling. We get attracted to, it's already happening in the college game with the NIL deals and these kids. And, we were talking about that last night when we were all together. How can you not have animosity if you're in college and you're both on the same team and you got one kid that's got an NIL deal, then he's going to make $1.2 million over 3 years, and you got another kid that's just there going to school? How can you play together as a team? And if the kid that makes $1.2 million hits 320 with 4 home runs and doesn't do much, and you're out proving that guy, and you're like, why the fuck don't I have an NIL deal? Because then it's about me, me, me. And when you play a team sport, you're supposed to work together. That's what I loved about my college teams. And that was the difference between college and pro ball. Pro ball became something that became a job because you got paid for it. And when you get paid for it, it's cutthroat. People will cut your nuts off to get to your position. Now it's happening at a younger age where kids are very immature and more selfish and more about me, more about Instagram, more about TikTok. How do I promote myself? How do I do that? It's very, very, it's a slippery slope that we're going down. I want all young kids to do the best they can, but I don't know if this is the right way to go about it. Because I feel like that creates negativity, people being evil, jealousy. So where does it end? But let me get back on track because I can go on. I go down these rabbit holes and I start going. I feel like my life is completely turning around. And it has a lot to do with the people that are around me. I'm blessed that my wife is in my life. My kids that I speak to every day, I wish I could see them every day. But they're growing up and they're going to run their own lives soon. But I just need to be there for them because at some point they're going to have grandkids and I'm going to be there for them too for that. And I'm going to be around for a long time. And that's why I work really hard on my health. And that's what I mean about the fitness part too. I work hard on my health because of the fitness part, but it's also the mental part. Because when you do that, you have so much clarity. And it gives you the confidence to be that man in the arena. To take the opportunity to take the shot. If you fail, you fail. But at least you did it. Most people don't have the nuts to even do it. And then they want to criticize. I think that this was the perfect time for my gift to come because, like I said, God had a plan for us today, and it was literally to talk about a guest that was coming on, and last minute had to cancel, and I wasn't going to cancel with Ethan. He has a busy schedule. I have a busy schedule, and I want to stay on track and not lose any weeks. And this comes into my lap last night, and here we are today talking about it. So let me recap with the man in the arena because I have one little thing left. It says, what is Roosevelt's primary purpose in his speech, The Man in the Arena? The speech, best known as best known for its Man in the Arena passage, outlines Teddy Roosevelt's thoughts about the duty and responsibilities of the state to citizen and citizen to the state. The Man in the Arena passage emphasizes the importance of action and striving towards worthy goals in life over idle criticism, laziness, and inaction. That sums it up. Worthy goals, strive towards them, get it done. And if you don't get it done the first time, try again, because you will. It's all what you put into life is how great your life can be. And again, don't chase the almighty dollar. Chase your heart and chase helping others and make a difference in life. God bless. I love you all. And I wish you the best. And please continue to follow and pass on our message to everybody. You know, we want as many followers as we can to hear this message, because I know there's a lot of people out there that could use it. Until next week, thank you.